Just north of I-40 off Rio Grande Boulevard in Los Ranchos de Albuquerque is one of our state's most exquisite agricultural locales. Nestled under the cottonwoods of Albuquerque along the Rio Grande, in the heart of the city's North Valley neighborhood is the historic Los Poblanos Ranch. While the property has changed hands over the years, its history as an experimental and progressive farm dates back to the 1930s. Many native New Mexicans have been raised on the milk supplied by Creamland Dairies, whose original home was here at Los Poblanos, and whose exemplary purebred herds of Guernsey and Holstein cows helped develop the dairy industry in New Mexico. Beyond dairy farming, alfalfa, oats, corn, and barley were also grown on the property, not to mention the farm's experiments in cultivation and countless other areas of agriculture, whose influence is immeasurable. Today, Los Poblanos honors its agricultural heritage and its mission to be a sustainable and innovative operation. And it is an operation. First off, it is in fact a working farm. Harvests from the farm, among them greens, herbs, chilies, and pork, are featured on the rotational seasonal menu at the La Merienda restaurant. You will also find byproducts of the farm's lavender and honey on the shelves of the farm shop, along with an array of other enticing items made by local artisans and craftspeople from around the state. Finally, there is the historic Inn and La Quinta Cultural Center, whose architecture alone is reason enough to visit. And today, I have the chance to meet the man behind it all, Matt Remby.
So can you tell me a little bit about what you guys have going on throughout the farm and the shop? Give me a little synopsis.
Well, it's the original ranch of what used to be a 80,000 acre ranch that extended all the way to the base of the mountains. But it's the old historic Los Poblanos Ranch. And guests get to this kind of visceral experience of seeing the farmers bring something in hours before it's served to them, as well as they see, lavender being harvested, and then they go back to their rooms and they shower and they're using all, So it is kind of a crazy experience, but it's a real one. Even though it is a beautiful place, there is real farming going on, and tractors and trucks and animals. That really resonates with people, the sort of authenticity of the whole thing.
And then how does that experience play into maybe some of the history of this land and this property specifically?
One is the architect is kind of New Mexico's most well-known 20th century architect, a guy named John Gamin. And John Gamin, he really is responsible for kind of identifying what makes New Mexican architecture unique. Some of the artists that he contracted in the 30s did farm-themed artwork. So that kind of lays the foundation for us telling all these stories. So that is totally unique to New Mexico. All the art and the craftsmanship and this architecture and then the setting. And then the other is kind of what makes food unique to this area. And so we've kind of coined a term called Rio Grande Valley cuisine. And it's really about what grows well in New Mexico and what grows well in the central Rio Grande Valley. It's not just what we grow, but we leverage and use all the food in our entire food shed, which most of it kind of stems from that Rio Grande River, which is kind of the heart of New Mexico.
Along with a rich food shed, we also have a growing community of farmers in New Mexico. And today, I, along with some other folks, am meeting Farmer Fergus to learn about the salad greens being grown on the property, and even take a whack, quite literally, at harvesting the greens ourselves. But I must say, while harvesting has its own rewards, the feasting is where guests can truly reap the benefits of this farm's bounty.
We're all about field to fork. There's all these things from, nose to tail and farm to face, but those just help people kind of distill and understand what we're trying to do. We don't have typical New Mexican food or Spanish food or even typical farm food. It's actually very much a metaphor what New Mexico is all about.
Yeah. The many layers and flavors of New Mexico are not only represented in the restaurant's menu, but in the wide variety of items in the farm shop. But the selection is not limited to culinary delights. In fact, much of what you will find on these shelves will aid your indulgence of another variety, i.e. the home spa experience. What is abundantly clear when perusing through the farm shop is how these items are a testament to the skills and talent of our local artisans, and how much they offer us in terms of craftsmanship. Any shop in the country would envy the selection of high-end products found on these shelves, and the aesthetic and attention to detail in the shop and every other part of this property is bar none.
As you roam the property, you get the elegance and the class, but you also get this groundedness of this history that's been in this property for so long.
And there is this spectrum here that's really great. And it's kind of this, it is a classic New Mexican elegance. At the same time, we're farming on this site. And there's some crusty old barns and animals, and you know, the general soul of this place is kind of right in between. There are some things that just happen naturally here in New Mexico, and it's the sky, and it's the climate, and it's the terroir, all the ingredients coming out of this, you know, unique landscape. So we just want to step back and let New Mexico do its thing.
So like as a peacock walks by us during the interview.
Yeah.
Los Poblanos hosts regular Meet the Farmer classes, as well as their Tasty Tuesdays when you can sample goods in the farm shop. Drop on in. Once you arrive on site, you may not want to leave. Make a weekend of it and stay at the historic inn. Don't miss lavender season at Los Poblanos from mid-June through mid-July. Besides the annual Lavender Festival, they also host weekly lavender labs.